So to begin with, what is Eclipse? Well, Eclipse is an integrated development environment. Many people just use the acronym IDE for that. And it truly is the most popular IDE out there. Eclipse dominates the market space for Java IDEs. NetBeans is a bit of a distant second place. But since Eclipse is so popular, that's what we've chosen to use for this course. The other nice thing about Eclipse is that it is open source and it is free. And so you can download Eclipse from the eclipse.org website. Just a little bit of history. Eclipse reaches back to 1999. It was initially developed by IBM as part of a product called, if I remember right, it's their Visual Age product line. And the story goes that they created Eclipse with the idea of eclipsing the IDE that the .NET world uses, Microsoft Visual Studio, of kind of being better than that, I suppose. Well, Eclipse didn't stay part of IBM for long. They actually donated it to the open source world in late 2001. Since then, IBM still supports Eclipse. They still help with the releases, but it's been open source for a long time. It's great for doing Java work. It's great for doing development, but you actually can do a lot more with it. It's definitely a development environment people use for Java, but as somebody who's wanting to create an environment for maybe something else, you can build on top of Eclipse. For example, if you do Android programming, there's some what we call plugins that you can use to add Android development on top of Eclipse. And so it's kind of like a base framework that you can build other stuff on top of. So the Eclipse project itself gets broken down into smaller pieces. The Eclipse Platform, this is what I'm talking about. That's this base framework that other stuff builds on. The Java Development Tools project, that's what we're going to deal with day to day here, because the Eclipse installation we're doing, the Java Eclipse installation, is made up of these tools for supporting Java development. But there also is a whole plugin development environment that you can make use of, or that most other people typically make use of, in order to, have third-party add-ons that work with Eclipse. So for example, I mentioned Android. There's a plugin there. There's a plugin if you wanted to do Subversion or Git. These are revision control systems, and many other plugins as well. So a new release of Eclipse comes out every June. And the naming convention they're working with like celestial bodies or with maybe scientists that had a lot to do with space, astronomy, that kind of stuff. And as you can tell, recently they've gone ahead and incremented, if you will, the first letter. And so after Galileo, we had Helios, after Helios, Indigo, then Juno, then Kepler. As you can see, after that, we'll have something that starts with the letter L. The numbering, as of this recording, I'm working with Eclipse Juno, which is Eclipse 4.2, and normally they're just point releases, but if there's something major that happens, they'll move up to the next version. So the next one that's due to come out soon in June of 2013, as of this recording at least, is Eclipse 4.3 Kepler. Again, I'm using Juno. You should be able to use... Wow, Eclipse is rolling back probably several years. I'm sure that this content will work just fine even with like Galileo or Helios, and it should work just fine with later versions as well.